Hey, hey, hey. It's Robert, it's your Glamour Planner. When your heart is just heavy, your mind is just weighed down with so much that is going on. And the more you go down the rabbit hole, the more you learn, the more you study, the more you dive, the more you see things. So I heard a brother say, I think it was Brother Rizza said, we waste too much time trying to fix what's broke when all we need to do is create the real. And that is what has been happening. We had companies like Miel and Shea Moisture and what's her name? Carol's daughter, one of the ones that did it first. So we seen what was broke, we seen what didn't work for us and fix it, and then we sell it. Then it goes back to being adulterated, less quality, poor ingredients, chemically treated. It's so crazy that we don't understand the value in creating what we need. That's why I love the gardening community. Y'all see that the food and things are adulterated or chemically treated and pesticides and all that. And what we do, we grow our own food. Hey Mike, how are you? So we see that and then we grow our own food. We answer. God us gifts, and I nobody can tell me that God doesn't work through us. Like there is the spirit of God in us that helps us to resolve our own issues. How you doing? So, for instance, like those companies I just gave you, they seen that they're just hair product industry wasn't for black people, didn't create products that was conducive for black people. So what we do, we go and create our own. It's the same thing. We see that the food is adulterated, chemically treated, and we grow our own food. And I believe that there's an answer for everything. It's so funny, but I had switched to, I did a study on teas, right? What is teas? I didn't even know that there's a difference between tea and herbal tea, to say the least. When you use herbs, it's really not tea. It's an herbal infusion, but it's a hot drink that we create. You can drink it hot, cold, whatever. But to actually say it is tea, it has to come from what's called a tea plant. And I did this a YouTube live on it over a year ago. You guys have to go back and check and look through it to see. But I say all that to say I forget what happened. And I was looking up because um, I think I spoke with you guys a while back, and I mentioned it earlier in my live earlier. If you guys didn't see that live, check that out too. I went to the Dollar Tree. They got 25-cent items, y'all. If you need some things, we're getting ready for the holiday. I'm going to be giving kids, making projects with kids, and giving out gifts and things to kids for the holidays who are less fortunate. So I went and picked up some things that I thought were nice little stuffers for them. But needless to say, there was a honey in Dollar Tree, and on the back, so on the front is a teddy bear, like hey Jane Doe. On the front, it's a little clear teddy bear. There's a honey company that uses a teddy bear, and it's a very reputable company, and it uses teddy bear. And on the back of it, it says corn syrup. So it's not even honey, but they trick you into picking it up, thinking it's honey, not looking at the ingredients, not checking to make sure that it is actually honey, and we just pick it up and go. I was one on one, had picked it up, and when I got home, I saw it, and I was like, this isn't even honey. It's funny, but I shared earlier as well about the lawsuits against Pepsi and all of those companies and everything that the United States government has launched a lawsuit against them for their adulteration of food and their basically a crime against you know uh, the American people's health. So when I looked at that honey, I was like, wow. So the reason why they're raising a lot of hell, and we've been talking about this adulterated food for years, but the reason why they raise fuss about it because they don't have to use cheap chemicals. They don't have to use chemicals that are not good for our health. So yeah, I'm at the dry cleaners. My dryer broke, and So knowing that they can do that, they choose not to. They choose to use less quality, pesticide ridden, chemically treated ingredients in the products that they make for us. And the products are not, it's not good, y'all. Like, it's really not good. And for instance, with the honey, they can cut it with corn syrup, they can cut it with rice sugar, or they can cut it with beets. Now, I'd rather you cut it with beets. I'd rather you could not cut it at all, but they can cut it with beets, you know what I mean? And it will be healthier for us because at least we're getting those health benefits from the beets. And I don't mean, and whenever you see flavoring, flavor, you don't want that anyway because it's not the real thing. What they do is they have these companies. There are companies like we have one here in New Jersey, in northern part of New Jersey, right? And that company has their only sole job is to create flavors that taste like real food. So, for instance, for in, for instance, a friend of mine, where I did security at, he used to work for that company. He did security at that company, and he was telling me like I don't know how many years ago. He said it was a long time ago because he's old, ancient, and he said that he was there when they created the flavor for the McDonald's burger that didn't come from real beef. The actual flavor for the McDonald's burger was created in a laboratory. So I say that to say, like, they can use, don't use flavorings or flavor, but they can use a better alternative. They just choose not to. And I just, for me, I just don't understand why you choose to not use the right, something healthier, a healthy alternative to, what they feed us is my point. So with that, I was looking at the honey, and it was just completely corn syrup. And I kind of tagged a lot of you guys on this video that I came across after I was doing my little deep dive. I come across this video that was attached to it by a YouTube channel person called Hidden Elder. And if you guys get a chance, check out his videos. He has really great videos. Not only he doesn't just share the information, but he give you the sightings, give you the lawsuits, give you the FDA findings, and we don't always trust the FDA, but he gives you a lot of the research and companies that file these lawsuits and things against these companies for lying and misleading the people. You want to hear something funny? I googled um, what did I Google? Hold on, y'all. Hopefully, I don't lose you guys in trying to. So, Google was agreeing with me. It basically said, you're absolutely correct. Like a majority of the honey, honey flavored, all of that stuff sold in the US is fake. And y'all, it's fake. And when I saw Hidden Elders video, he actually listed the companies. And at the time, I was drinking Bigelow green tea. And I mentioned this earlier in my other live earlier, but I was drinking it and I threw it out. Like, I threw out mine. I couldn't, my job provides the tea and stuff for everybody. So I couldn't go in the cabinet and throw it out, but I did put a sticky note on the box. But the sticky note on the box says, try a different brand in the cabinet. And they probably going to throw the sticker out, but I don't care. But I just wanted people to know that I knew. And then, but I'm good for talking to people. Like, I'll talk to my coworkers and the people at my site that I work at and say, hey, that's not a good brand. Bigelow had pesticides and DDT. When I tell you some of the chemicals, I'm banned 20 years, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't think they were banning over 20, but like 10 years or so ago that they've been banning these chemicals, and yet here they are found in there. And this is the kicker, y'all. Most of it isn't even in the US. They don't get it, they don't make it in the US. They buy it from China. Buy it from China. Okay. They buy it from China. And you got to be able to find an alternative, y'all. So one of the ones that was mentioned in that video I shared on my community tab was like this. You know how you go to hotels and they have these honey things. Y'all, it's not honey. It's corn syrup. It is completely corn syrup. It's not honey. And the funny thing is, it's got a kosher symbol on it, which means that they know that they can buy a kosher symbol, but it still not be good for you. So just because it's kosher, which means that it just doesn't use any byproducts from pork, and then the processing of it follows the Jewish law, but that doesn't mean that the ingredients are good for you. So these that you find in a hotel, all fake. There's not a drop of honey in it. The little teensy bit you may find in it is so adulterated and so bleached that there's no trace. All of the health benefits have completely removed from it. So it ain't even worth wasting your energy on it. And they said in the video, it said, do not buy honey from, what do you call it, from any drugstore. Not only is the honey completely diluted, adulterated, but they actually add chemicals to it, y'all. There are antibiotics added to honey. What is the need for antibiotic in honey? I don't get it. Like why? And it's illegal antibiotics. When I say illegal, it is illegal antibiotics because it comes from China. They put illegal antibiotics in it. They completely heated, removing any health benefits. And I was saying to people, you know how you used to take a teaspoon of honey, and I always tell my children, give my grandkids a teaspoon of honey so that whenever they have a sore throat or a cold, but you notice now when you take the honey, like I took it like a teaspoon of honey, and guess what? I still got the same sore throat. No, because there's no health benefits. They've removed all of the benefits of the honey from the honey. So you're just basically drinking sugar. When I say all of this stuff is so ingrained in us, it's just it's completely in our pores and our skin. It's in everywhere. We have to do like some serious detoxing to get all of these sugars and these additives and things out of our system because they have robbed all of any health benefits of the food. And that's why we grow food. Again, that's why I love our community, because we grow our food and we answer our own ailments, you know what I mean, with the things that we have. I was telling a young lady earlier in the dollar store, she was saying how her back was hurting. I said, hey, you got some turmeric at home? You can make a compass with the turmeric. You're going to need to find out what's going on with your back. But in the meantime, while you're in pain, you could make a compass out of turmeric. I said, if you got some cayenne pepper in the next hour, they got cayenne pepper seasoning. You can take that, put that in some honey, allow it to infuse for 24 hours, and just start rubbing it on that spot where you're having pain. Like there's ways that we can help ourselves. Like I said, I feel like if we keep studying, we keep learning and keep growing, we'll answer our own ailments that are plaguing us, and we won't rely on these companies that rely on just that only make things for $1. They don't make it for our benefit at all. And for instance, that the teas, y'all, it was a deep dive into the teas. I know I did tea before, and why we drink herbal tea, but there's still a lot of people who drink these teas, and you gotta understand that it's not just the fact of the tea, the plant itself. I explained about that tea in that video. You have to go look at that video. But now there's pesticides all over the tea leaves. These same tea leaves that they're grounding up for us and putting into a tea bag has pesticides, chemicals, chemically laced in the tea leaves. And guess where they come from? Yeah, China. That's where the teas are being made. That's where they're buying them from, and there's no regulation over there. There's no regulation. They're spraying, they're chemically treating the soil. So now you're starting to see these places like in India where it's not just organic. They're not just going by USDA organic, because if you've seen in the video, some of those so-called organic honeys were still fake and still had chemicals in it. And the teas, it was the same thing with the teas. They had chemicals and ingredients that were long ago, um, not supposed to be in there. They were prohibited, but yet they still found their way into it. And then not only that, the bags that they're using to put the teas in, now they got chemicals in it. They're bleached and chemically treated bags. So now while you're heating up your tea bag, tea leaves in there, they leaves that also has pesticides in it. Then you got this chemical reaction going on in your teacup. Like this is crazy to me. And then we wonder why we are unstable, where our health is at risk, our heart is at not at ease, our body is at dis-ease. Like there's so much chemical reactions going on and we don't even realize it. They were saying how you know how when we use our water in our house, right? So the chlorine and everything that they use to purify the water and stuff in there. So if you allow the water to sit after 24 hours, that water that dissipates and it goes away. It becomes a gas. So it's no longer liquid, it becomes a gas and it evaporates out of your water. But guess what? The PFAs is still there. They have found that the PFAs were still in the water. So, and not just the water that we use from our sink, y'all, that water in the water bottles. Please check your water bottles. I was explaining, I think on Mona's Live, like don't drink from the water bottle itself. Pour it in a glass. We don't know how long it's already been in a bottle, so it could already have leaches of the plastic into it. But there's also metals in there. There's micro metals, microplastics in it. So you want to check the source of everything. I know it can be a headache, and you guys, it can be daunting a lot of times. You know, having to go through all of that, but your health is at risk. Your family at risk. You're at risk for all of these things that are plaguing us. You know, and when we can trace it back to things that we can eliminate out of our diet, like for instance, I stopped using chemicals to clean my house. I use the vinegar of those germs. So we started using vinegar to clean with, you know, instead of chemicals. Because I share with you guys that same thing. I did research on a certain, I think 1,000 housewives back in the day and found out they all had got cancer and didn't know where they were getting cancer from. They were using it was coming from the cleaning products. The cleaning products, they would not switch to the off position. When it's not switched to the off position, it leaches chemicals into the air. And when it leaches those chemicals into the air, it it was causing them to become sick and get cancer. So, but I know I wanted to get on here and just share with you guys all of that's been on my mind. There's just been so much, but I just want you guys to know, like, we gotta be mindful of what we're putting in our bodies, how we're um, allowing. It's what we spend our money on. Like if we want to change what's happening with us, with what's happening with our bodies, with the foods that we consume and those things, it starts with our own dollars. We don't have to spend our dollars with these companies that don't value our life and value our health. We have to value our life and health more than they do because they don't. It's only about $1 for these companies. And so we have to care enough about ourselves to say, hey, listen, I'm not spending my dollar with you. I'm not spending my dollar with you till you clean up your company. Or we encourage each other to create what we need. Like I was telling people, I reached out to J3. I have a local farmers market that I go to and get my honey, but I'd rather support us in our garden community by purchasing from each other. You know, it's going to come to that time where we support one another and purchase from one another as opposed to these companies that just leech off us and we're slowly harming ourselves from all of the chemicals we ingest. But if you get a chance, you know, get you some real honey. I don't know if any of y'all know, is there anybody else besides J3 that makes honey? They could list all of the people that honey in our community support one another. Point for this video is us coming together and finding people that we can support that sells the honey. I know there's a lot of bee farmers in our community. At least I was seeing from a lot of the videos on YouTube that we have a lot of them that do, and it'd be nice to support them. Yeah, it would be nice to put a list together of all the ones that do have honey and stuff. And then check out ways to check your own honey to see if it's fake. I was concerned about a honey I had. It was so funny, but I had my job. We had an event, and they had all of these out, right? And I'm getting it. I'm thinking it. You know, this is great. All of these are going in the garbage. I kept it so I can show y'all. And then they had lemon juice. I don't even know if the lemon juice is real. But Pam, Scaredy Cat Gardner, she did a video on how to check your honey too. She said turn your honey upside and there's a bubble that forms. So your honey is not supposed to move fast. See how slow this one's moving? And I think this is moving a little bit faster, but she said it's supposed to move slow like this. If it moves fast, then it's not real honey, it's syrup. And the thing about it is the labels are misleading. They found that some of them that even said organic was not real. So there is a movement to regenerative besides being organic, but regenerative because they're finding that they're buying organic labels and it's still fake. But this honey is not supposed to move fast. It's supposed to move slow. If your honey moves fast, it's not real. And there's a bubble. See, so mine, I had it in a car, so it was kind of cold, but I waited for it to become room temperature. So, yep. Let me see. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to get on here and tell you guys that. But I will check you out. I'll be here in these YouTube streets. All right. I thank y'all for coming on, and I'll check back in with y'all.